One of the names that we always hear when we hear Angel Reese is Caitlin Clark as well. People have tried to pit you guys against each other. How much of that is actual rivalry versus just commentary from the public, like people trying to make you guys be enemies?
Yeah, I think it's just competition. It's been competition since college.
What's going on, guys? This one right here might be the boldest rumor to ever come out of Indiana. Because according to multiple insiders, Fever owner Steve Simon tried to pull off a blockbuster move that would have flipped the entire WNBA upside down. The report says Simon pushed hard for a trade that would bring Angel Reese, yes, that Angel Reese, to Indiana to join forces with Caitlin Clark. Two rivals, two of the most talked about names in all of basketball, on the same team. It sounded like a marketing dream, but instead of a fairy tale, the plan apparently blew up before it even began. The locker room turned cold. Clark's camp reportedly voiced quiet concerns, and what started as a power play became yet another Fever headache. So what really happened behind the scenes? Let's head all the way up to Indy, because this story isn't just about basketball. It's about power, money, and who actually runs the WNBA. Let's get it. Let's go. For Steve Simon, this wasn't just about rebounds and defense. It was about business.
Traditionally, it's the champion who gets the visit to D.C., not the runner-up. But LSU star Angel Reese called the First Lady's suggestion a joke, but Reese has been called worse than that because of this, the "you can't see me" gesture that she gave Iowa's Caitlin Clark during the final.
Ever since Caitlin Clark arrived, the Fever have become a marketing goldmine. Record ticket sales, sellout arenas, jerseys flying off the shelves. And Simon, the businessman he is, started thinking bigger. What if he could double it? What if he added the one player who could match Clark's energy, controversy, and spotlight? That player was Angel Reese. Simon reportedly told close associates that the move would be transformational. Imagine the media coverage. Imagine every Fever game being a national event, not just for fans, but for culture. Clark, the clean-cut phenom. Reese, the unapologetic competitor. Fire and ice under one roof. He saw headlines. He saw sponsors. He saw money. But what he didn't see coming was the pushback. At first, Simon kept things quiet. He allegedly floated the idea through back channels to see if the Chicago Sky would even consider it. But nothing in the WNBA stays secret for long. Within days, whispers reached agents, reporters, and eventually, the Fever locker room.
I just think that it's like comparing apples and oranges. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
at least
they don't play the same position.
They like doing the Magic and the Bird comparison. Well, they played similar positions. Like Bird, he played the guard position. Like they at least kind of match up. What are we doing?
One insider described the reaction perfectly. Half the room thought it was genius, the other half thought it was insanity. Some staff saw it as a chance to build the league's first true super team. Others warned it could blow up everything they'd worked to build. Even members of the Pacers organization, which shares ownership ties with the Fever, reportedly raised eyebrows, calling the idea risky optics. Still, Simon was determined. He believed he could sell the move to fans as unity, growth, and progress. But to players, it looked like a PR stunt waiting to explode. Behind the scenes, Caitlin Clark stayed professional, at least publicly. No tweets, no comments, no interviews. But according to those close to her camp, she wasn't exactly celebrating the idea. Clark reportedly told confidants that while she respects Angel's hustle, she wasn't sure their energies would blend on the same team.
There's a conversation that people don't want to have, but we have to have it in order to truly get to the bottom of it. And that is the race conversation. The reason that this continues to go on and on and on is because there is a racial divide and racial undertones in almost everything.
She knew what that partnership would bring. Every practice filmed, every glance dissected, every disagreement turned into a headline. One person familiar with the situation said, Caitlin didn't want the narrative to shift from winning games to surviving drama. Her management team, who handle massive deals with Nike, Wilson, and Hy-Vee, quietly reached out to the Fever front office. They wanted clarity. Translation: what exactly are you doing? That single conversation might have changed the entire direction of the franchise. Because once Clark's camp voiced concern, everyone knew the power dynamic had shifted. Meanwhile, inside the Fever facility, the rumor created an immediate ripple effect. Players were already trying to find chemistry after a roller coaster season. And now, some players were hyped about the possibility. They saw Reese as a rebounding machine who could take pressure off Aaliyah Boston and add toughness inside. Others weren't so sure.
When Kennedy Carter hip-checked Caitlin, was that a basketball play? Absolutely not. Was Kennedy wrong? 100%. It was not as hard as people say, but it was everywhere. When Alyssa Thomas clotheslined Angel and took her out, that was worse than what Kennedy did.
One veteran reportedly said, "We just got things stable." Why bring in a walking media storm? Coach Stephanie White tried to calm the noise. She told players to ignore outside rumors, and focus on workouts. But everyone could sense the tension. White herself was reportedly split. She admired Reese's competitiveness, but worried the move would make the Fever look like a circus act rather than a contender. By the end of the week, practice had turned awkward. Nobody knew what was real anymore, and everyone was watching for Clark's reaction. Instead of backing off, Steve Simon doubled down. According to multiple reports, he believed criticism proved he was onto something. He told a small group of executives that the league needed drama that sells. In his eyes, controversy meant relevance, and he wanted Indiana at the center of every conversation. Simon even tried to pitch potential sponsorship packages around the Clark-Reese alliance, comparing it to Magic and Bird joining forces.
Being able to play against Caitlin. I've been playing against Caitlin since we were probably in 8th or 9th grade. We both were really competitive during AAU. I went to Maryland, she went to Iowa, so we competed there, and then finally being able to compete in the national championship. So people don't know the legacy of us being able to play against each other for a really long time.
He reportedly said, "This is bigger than basketball. It's about visibility." But as Simon leaned into the business side, his basketball staff grew more uncomfortable. They warned him that forcing two rivals together might damage the locker room chemistry beyond repair. Yet Simon pressed on. For him, risk was part of the game. Unfortunately, so was backlash. Eventually, the idea reached Chicago's front office, and that's where things unraveled. The Sky weren't interested in losing their star unless Indiana offered something massive. Early reports claim the asking price included draft picks and one of Indiana's core young players, maybe even Lexi Hull or Nalissa Smith. That was a non-starter. The Fever quietly backed away, and by the time discussions cooled off, the rumor had already gone public. And that's when social media exploded. Fans started debating who killed the deal. Some claimed Clark's camp intervened. Others said Reese didn't want to play second fiddle to anyone. No one knew the truth. But the headlines were everywhere. One post went viral saying, "Steve Simon tried to build a super team. Instead, he built a soap opera."
Here's the thing, Clark made the exact same gesture in the Elite 8 game during this tournament. And not only was she praised for it, she got props from wrestler John Cena, who's been doing the move since the early 2000s. It's raised questions about double standards, to which Clark defended Reese.
By the next morning, the Fever front office was in full damage control mode. Behind closed doors, insiders say the aftermath got messy. Steve Simon felt embarrassed. He thought he'd make a power move that would redefine the franchise. Instead, it exposed how fractured the organization really was. Stephanie White was reportedly frustrated too. She'd been working all offseason to stabilize the locker room after a chaotic year, and now this rumor put her right back where she started. Caitlin Clark, meanwhile, did what she always does. Kept quiet and let her play do the talking. But make no mistake, her silence spoke volumes. Inside the organization, it became crystal clear. Caitlin's voice matters more than anyone's. An anonymous staffer told a podcast, "If Caitlin wants something to happen, it happens. If she doesn't, it doesn't. Simple as that." That's when people started using a new nickname around the Fever front office, the face of the franchise and the franchise itself. The failure of this deal opened a deeper wound, a growing divide between basketball operations and business operations. On one side, Steve Simon and the Pacers marketing team wanted constant headlines. They saw Clark and Reese as lightning in a bottle. On the other side, White and her staff wanted development, chemistry, and long-term wins. This tug-of-war is becoming the Fever's biggest challenge. Every time they chase attention, their basketball people feel sidelined. Every time they choose stability, their business department says they're missing opportunities. And the craziest part? Both sides might be right. Because love them or hate them, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese together would have been must-see TV. But at what cost? While all this drama unfolded, league officials reportedly kept a close eye on the situation. The WNBA's leadership has been trying to balance growth with professionalism, and this story put them in a tough spot. Privately, they love the attention.
I don't think Angel should be criticized at all. no matter which way it goes, she should never be criticized for what she did. I'm just one that competes, and she competed. So I think everybody knew there was going to be a little trash talk in the entire tournament.
Every headline, every social media argument means higher ratings. But publicly, they can't afford to look like a league run by personalities instead of franchises. One insider from the league office was quoted saying, "We want stars, we just don't want chaos." That's easier said than done when those stars have more followers than the league itself. Because in today's WNBA, every major decision, even hypothetical ones, goes viral instantly. Now, even though the trade fell apart, the story isn't going away. In fact, it might define the Fever's entire offseason. Inside Indiana's front office, people are reportedly walking on eggshells. They know Simon wants a splash. They know Clark has veto power in everything that affects her brand. And they know one wrong headline could send the team back into controversy. Some insiders believe Simon hasn't given up entirely. They say he's still open to revisiting the idea later. Maybe not Reese specifically, but another bold personality who can match Clark's spotlight. Others think he finally learned his lesson. Either way, the damage is done. Every move Indiana makes from here on will be viewed through one lens: who really runs the Fever? So let's zoom out for a second. On paper, this was just a trade rumor, one owner dreaming about uniting two stars. But in reality, it revealed a power structure shift across the entire league. Because 10 years ago, this story would have started and ended in a boardroom. Now, a single rumor can shake an entire franchise, all because of social media power and fan culture. Steve Simon wanted to build a dynasty. Instead, he built a debate about who controls the future of women's basketball. Was he crazy to even try? Maybe not. Maybe he just saw what everyone else was afraid to admit. That conflict sells, and in the entertainment era of sports, the line between rival and teammate is thinner than ever. But he underestimated something: Caitlin Clark's influence. Because when your star is bigger than your brand, every decision has to pass through her orbit first. She doesn't have to say no publicly, she just has to stay silent, and things stop moving. That's real power. So what do you think? Would the Clark-Reese pairing have worked, or would it have burned down the Fever from the inside? Was Simon a visionary, or just out of touch? Drop your thoughts below, because no matter which side you're on, one thing's undeniable. This offseason just exposed how the modern WNBA really operates. And trust me, this story is far from over. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next few months are going to be wild. From front office drama to locker room leaks, we're tracking every twist and every rumor. Stay tuned, because the Indiana Fever aren't just fighting for a championship anymore. They're fighting for control of the entire league.